Thank you, Josh. You might have to come help me make sure I'm. While he's doing that, I coming over here this morning, I thought, what's better, getting to do a morning session or getting to do that session after lunch? And I came to the conclusion that doing a morning session of a first day of a conference was better than doing after lunch. Okay? Because I figure the morning session tomorrow morning, some of y'all are going to drag in here a little bit late. Some of y'all probably going to do some stuff you shouldn't do tonight. And I came to the conclusion I'm probably going to have more of your attention this morning than I would if it was after lunch or this afternoon or tomorrow morning. Okay, let me start off by saying a little bit about what we do. I'm an economic developer by trade, okay? That's a little bit like being a football coach, okay? Everybody can like you, you can be everybody's friend, but at the end of the day, about every 2 or 3 years, they're going to invite you to go find another job somewhere else, okay? The only way you can really be successful in this is to realize that you got to have a couple of philosophies, okay? One of my philosophies is live every day like your ass is on fire, okay? If you got a football analogy, and we're in the South, so the ladies got just as much vernacular as the men in football, is we try to tell our staff too, said, don't take plays off. You know, you got these guys that'll play hard in a game, but they won't practice hard. Or you got guys that'll take a few plays off in the game, and then they'll do that real spectacular play, but they don't play hard all the time. You know, we try to tell everybody, live like your ass is on fire, and don't take any plays off. Teddy Bruschi, the linebacker that used to be for the New England Patriots, some of y'all might remember him, he had a phrase called full tilt, full time, okay? And that's kind of just sort of the way we do it. Now, I'm here today to talk to you about workforce. I'm going to give you some fun stories. I'm going to hopefully make some of you cry. I'm going to kind of touch a lot of stuff, but I thought it'd be very, very, very important if you just knew a little bit about our piece of the world, okay? Because I was here for roll call, okay? I can tell you I'm not from Mississippi. I've been here since 2003. I got Joe Max as my name. That's because I come from Arkansas, and there's not a lot of difference in Arkansas and Mississippi. You know, if I blindfolded you and took you to the Mississippi Delta on the Mississippi River and unfolded your blindfold and said, here you are, where are you? You know, you'd say, I'm in the Delta. Well, if I blindfolded you and drove you over the bridge and pointed you the other way, you'd say the same thing, okay? So I'm not from here. I was new to the Golden Triangle area in 2003. I came in to run the Economic Development Program, okay? Now, how many of you kind of sort of know where the Golden Triangle is? I'm usually mic'd, and I usually go back and sit on the back row, so work with me, okay? So you generally know where the Golden Triangle is. How many of you have a positive image of the Golden Triangle? Or how many of you have a positive image of the Golden Triangle? Okay? How many of your images of the Golden Triangle have happened in the last 10, say 13, 15 years versus before? In other words, 15 or 20 years ago, was the Golden Triangle relevant in any shape, form, or fashion in your minds? Anybody? Here's what I will tell you. When I came to Columbus, Mississippi, let me tell you a little bit about my story, and I'm going to try to be brief because I've got a lot of stuff to cover. I was sitting in my house one afternoon. I had a home office at my house. I was checking on some stuff. I ran a consulting firm and an economic development organization in a town. And one of the premium national headhunters called and said, Joe Max, I got a job for you. I want you to look at in Columbus, Mississippi. I said, you got to be kidding me. Did y'all hear that? That beat me, didn't it? You got to be kidding me. I'm not going to Mississippi. I see poverty and despair. I just got through watching Mississippi burning. I don't want to go there. Okay? I ain't lying to you. Okay? I said, I don't see any future there. So I hung up on her. Literally hung up on her. Don't call me with that shit, hung up on her. Got online that night and I started looking. And then by the way, it was just Columbus at the time. It wasn't the Golden Triangle Development Link, it was the Columbus Allowance Development Link. Started looking. And I said, man, they got river ports. They got a commercial airport. They're 15 minutes away from a major land-grant university. For those of you that don't know, that'd be Mississippi State University, okay? I said, they got kind of a lot going on. I wonder why they're not winning. So I sent her a text, and then I followed it up with a phone call, and I said, hey, I want to know some more information about this. She said, "You cussed me out and hung up on me." I said, "I did." And she said, "Now you want information?" I said, "I'm not saying I'm interested in a job." I said, "I'm doing this more as a sociologist. I want to know what the problem is down there." You see, at that time, the biggest employer they had made toilet seats. Okay? Now, generally everybody in this room probably sat on one of them, okay? Because they were one of the biggest toilet seat manufacturers in the world, okay? But that was our claim to fame, is we had 900 people making toilet seats, okay? I started looking at again, the river ports, the industrial park, the vast land, and I made a decision. I said, these guys can win, but they're not, okay? Because they're losers in their mind. Okay? Now, can you imagine, I interviewed, I got the job, and can you imagine the first meeting or two when I referred to my board and my bosses in the Rotary Club, and I said, "You're all losers"? That first Christmas, Jeffrey Rupp and Nick Ardillo and Bobby Harper went around and tried to get me fired. They said, "He ain't going to work out here." But here's what I found out. The potential was there, but the will wasn't, okay? Now, what we started doing is slowly but surely putting some stuff into place. And what we said was, we're going to change the way we think here. A team that has never won a football game. All right, look, all of you are from smaller towns, bigger towns around the state. Some of you come from football powerhouses. Some of you come from loser teams, okay? Not meaning you're losers, I mean your team loses. Habitually and consistently. And here's what I told my guys. The team that loses every game in 7th grade, every game in 8th grade, every game in 9th grade, every game in 10th grade, every game in 11th grade, there's always that good community supporter that's at the coffee shop that says, "Boys, I think this is your year, we go all the way." Okay? It's highly unlikely. Then there's those teams that win the state championship this year. They win it next year. They skip a year. They win it the next year. You get the picture. What has happened there is a culture of winning is created, an expectation. So here's what I found out when I got to Lowndes County. There was no expectation to win. Former Senator Terry Brown's deceased came in my office one day and he said, "I know we ain't gonna get no damn industry. They done signed that NAFTA shit. All them jobs done gone to Mexico." He said, "All I'm gonna ask you to do is, hell, act like you're trying anyway, boy. Act like you're trying." That pretty good, Terry Brown? Okay. I said, "Terry, I'm working an 1,100 job plant right now, makes railroad cars." He said, "No shit." I said, yeah. He said, "Well, get on with it. We need that." Okay? So here's the deal. We sat down and we said, we're going to be a high-performance team. We're going to live every day like our ass is on fire. We're going to make every toe push, and we're going to do what we do because at the end of the day, we're doing God's work. I mean, I'm not a preacher. I don't go very much. I will drink whiskey and I will smoke a cigar and I talk nasty, okay? But at the end of the day, I do believe we're doing God's work because we're creating opportunities for people, okay? This is a national ad that's in most of the trade journals right now, Play to Win. Those rings at the bottom are symbolic of the 4 super projects that we've located in the last 13 years. That's Airbus, that's PACCAR, that's Airbus, that's a steel mill, that's PACCAR, which is Peterbilt Kenworth's engine plant, and of late Yokohama. Those are our super projects. That's a national ad campaign. I guess this is going to forward on me if I don't watch it. Okay? This is something that I stole from Blake Wilson. I told him at State Chamber, MEC, I said, "I'm going to steal that." He said, "Okay." I said, "No, I'm going to steal it and I'm going to use it. And a lot of places I go and get paid to give a speech. I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm stealing your shit and I'm going to use it." He said, "Okay." Okay? But I want you to think about what this looks like, an incremental approach to achieve exponential results. Here's what we knew going into the deal. We can't win, knock it out of the park, home run, if we don't do some little baby small steps, okay? I was in London at the air show one year. I had one of the esteemed professors at Mississippi State came up. We were at Princess Diana's house having cocktails on the lawn, okay? Just want to let you know that's how some of your taxpayer money gets spent, okay? he came up and he was kind of braggadocious. He said, yep, we got a packed car because of Mississippi State University. That's the only reason they came. And I was about 6 or 7 cocktails into the night. And I said, no kidding. You think? You think? You think we got it just because of Mississippi State? What if somebody hadn't put the site together? What if somebody hadn't been able to get the incentives together? What if somebody hadn't been able to answer their fears about labor and workforce and all those things? Okay? I said, you got it all wrong here, dude. There ain't none of us more important than all of us. Okay? Yeah, they came to see Mississippi State on the last 2 visits they were here. Yeah, they saw something that was good. Yeah, they saw something that made us better. But at the end of the day, if we hadn't had that 400-acre shovel-ready site out there with all questions answered, they would have never met you. Okay? So, play to win. So I'm not saying this to brag. This is kind of mind-boggling if you'll think about it. In the 13 years that we've created the link, we've landed 5.3 billion. B as in boy, billion. Governor had to look it up. I already knew how many zeros it was. Okay? I'm not saying he's not smart. It's just that we deal with these all the time. 5.3 billion, 5,848 jobs. Okay? Now these are not jobs that typical or stereotypical for Mississippi. These are not cut and sew, clip and snip, widget and squidget bullshit jobs. Okay? These are building helicopters, building diesel engines, making tires, making steel. Now, I want to tell you something. If you hadn't thought about this, every one of those things are sort of semi-important to you. Okay? You want the engine to run. You want the tires not to pop. You want the steel to be strong. And the Lord knows if you ever get in anything that flies, you hope it takes off and lands. Okay? Now, we're averaging about 450, and by the way, these jobs are not they're not your daddy's jobs. They're high-tech jobs, they're high-paying. Steel mill pays $80,000 a year average. The engine plant pays $55,000 a year average. The helicopter plant pays $50,000 a year average. Okay? These are very good state-of-the-art workplaces. We were in Yokohama last week. We took the Board of Supervisors, the Mayor and Council, the Economic Development Board, and my bosses, and we got a tour of the plant. They finished phase 1 of that, which is 1 million square feet, it's 500 jobs. They said got 500 people that work here, 100 of them in management engineering, they're in an office. There's 400 people that work here. We got a day shift, a night shift, and we alternate shifts. At any one given time, there's 100 people in this plant. 1 million square feet of plant's got 100 people in it. That's one person for every 10,000 square feet. When we toured that plant, what we saw is one person about every 10,000 feet because everything is mechanized. There's no forklifts with people driving them. They're all running on GPS, picking up product, delivering product. Everything's done, and the people are there as minders, making sure that the equipment works perfectly. So these are not garden variety type of jobs. We're averaging about 450 jobs per year, and we've done 11 fee and lieu projects. That's over $100 million. By far the runaway leader in the state of more fee and lieu projects than anywhere else in the state. Okay? We've attracted 8 international companies, French, German, we had some Russian for a while, obviously Japanese, the Holy Grail, Japanese company. We got 4 mega sites, 3 are TVA certified. Now, I'm taking a little bit of pleasure here today. We got 3 mega sites, but on the 19th, the president, CEO of Tennessee Valley Authority will be in the Golden Triangle, and we will unveil the 3rd certified TVA mega site for the Golden Triangle, the 3rd. Now, what does that mean? Well, there's only 9 of them in Tennessee Valley's 80,000 square miles, all are parts of 7 states. Only 9. 3 of them are in Lowndes County. Okay? They didn't have the mega site program when we did Yokohama, but we followed the same rules. Here's what I'm going to tell you. We've done 3 mega sites, and we've landed $2.8 billion worth of projects on those mega sites, and that is PACCAR, Yokohama, and SDI. My bosses asked me the other day, said, do you think we'll hit another one out of the park on this 4th mega site? And I said, well, let's look at it this way. The worst case scenario, is we'll be batting 750 on our mega sites. The best case scenario is we'll be batting 1,000. We've extended our runway. These are things that people don't see behind the scenes. We've built 30 miles of new and improved roads. I don't mean overlays. I'm talking about new and vastly improved. We built 20 miles of rail, and by the way, that's $400 a running foot if you want to do the math for it. Damn near $2 million a mile. We built 20 miles of water line and 16 miles of sewer line. We built 5 drilled, 5 1 million gallon wells. We built 2 1 million gallon tanks, and we've already done 2 sewer treatment plant expansions, and the third one is in design. We built 6 million square feet of building. We've bought and put together 9,000 acres of industrial property. 6,300 acres of that's developed, and 2,700 is somebody calling it home. Okay? Now, I'm not telling y'all that to grab you by the nose and rub you in it, okay? That's not what I'm telling you. I'm telling you this, that guess what? If you get an effort, if you get a plan, you can succeed. Now, I'm leaving in 2020. That's 4.5 short years. I'm calling it adios, okay? And I'm going to do something else somewhere. By the way, my bosses know that, okay? But when we signed the last deal we signed, a couple of deals ago, we set some goals, and we said in 2020 we want to be at $8 billion in investment, and we want to have created 10,000 jobs, okay? We're still short, but it is absolutely doable. And I'm going to tell you this, my bosses didn't want to set a goal. I said, if you don't set a goal, how are we going to know whether we're doing well or not, okay? We're not going to be the organization that I came into that Zig Ziglar says accuses activity with accomplishment. We're going to put something up on the board, and if we win, we're going to put it up there. And if we don't win, we're going to dissect why we didn't, like Nick Saban watches game film, backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards, okay? And we've done something to create the biggest winning tradition that I think we can do. Our chairman served 2 years. Those guys and girls, and yes, there's girls, okay, 3 of them. Those guys and girls that have been chairman, when they leave the link, guess what they get? They get a ring. It's got a gemstone for the number of chairman they are, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, you get the picture. It's got their name on it. And on one side on it, it shows how many jobs were created during their tenure, and on the other side, it's how many dollars in investment was created in their tenure. If you don't think that starts to kind of motivate, my sitting chairman leaves in October. He came in last week. He's a trust officer, manages a 6-state trust for one of the major financial institutions. He said, "Do you have any idea what numbers are going to be on my ring yet?" Okay? That helps to lift everybody, and it helps set goals. Okay? Now, here's what I want to tell you. And I took a little bit of time to talk about this, and now we're going to talk about workforce. I think by everybody in the room, as long as you believe what I'm telling you is true, and it is, okay? I think anybody in this room understands that we've got a very, very successful program, that we figured out the recipe, that we know how it works, we know what's in the special sauce, okay? And here's what I'm going to tell you. On the big deals, we do extremely well. We bat about 444, 445. Means almost 1 in 2 big deals. If it walks in the door, we're going to own it. On the smaller deals, it's about 250, 260, okay, is our batting average. But here's what I'm going to tell you, is the only way you can win is to tear everybody else's face off, okay? Now, you can want to be friends with the neighbor up the street or down the street, but only when the governor says, Yokohama actually looked at every county in the United States. They desktop modeled every county in the United States. They narrowed it down. I think he was right at 28 was the next cut. They narrowed it down, they narrowed it down, they narrowed it down. And West Point, Mississippi beat Chester County, South Carolina, and right outside Montgomery, Hope Hull, where the Hyundai plant is, that's who we beat. We had to beat and by the way, we beat 17 Mississippi communities, okay? So I'm not being mean-spirited in Mississippi. Is the only way I win is kick all y'all's ass. And then I got to kick Alabama and South Carolina and everybody else's ass to get the deal, okay? Well, we bought the land. We put the infrastructure in. We are rocking and rolling. We got it on autopilot. Remember that show that had a theme song that said, "This future's so bright, we got to wear shades"? Well, that's what we're doing. We're saying, hey, this is great. Then we hired a consultant named Bill Fruth. Bill Fruth does the Polycoms. His claim to fame is for 25, 30 years. He's done the strength of economy of the micropolitans and metropolitans in the United States, and he gives you a grade, okay? Some of the worst micropolitans in the country are in Mississippi. Generally, the worst one or the next to the worst one, okay? We hired him to come in, and we said, here's what we want you to do. We're representing 3 counties now. We're representing 3 counties. He said, here's what we want you to do. We want you to give us a roadmap for Clay County, West Point. We want you to give us a roadmap for Starkville, Oktibbeha County. We want you to give us a roadmap for Columbus Lowndes. Now, here's what he told us. Much, much work put into it, okay? He came back, he told the Lowndes County guys, he said, keep it out of the ditch. You're on autopilot. Lean that seat back, put that wheel between your legs, and just keep it out of the ditch. And oh, by the way, if you don't fix workforce, you're going to drive in a ditch. When he went to West Point, you know what he told them? You need to take care of Yokohama. Because remember, Yokohama just built phase 1, 1 million square feet and 500 jobs. It's going to 5 million square feet and 2,000 jobs. He said, take care of Yokohama, take care of Yokohama, and take care of Yokohama. And oh, by the way, if you don't work on workforce, you're not going to be taking care of Yokohama. Then he goes over to Starkville. Now that's my brightest child. Y'all get that? They're smarter than we are, okay? That's the second best educated county in Mississippi. They told us, he told them, he said, detach from the university. Take your industrial park, detach from the university. Partner with the university, but don't be the university's, I can't say that probably, okay? Bitch, okay? Build your own park, drive your own deals, and don't be dependent upon Mississippi State bringing you some research deal. It's going to be the next greatest, biggest thing that generally never is, okay? And oh, by the way, your workforce isn't very good. You see, because of the 3 counties I got, the highest poverty rate is in Oktibbeha County, not Clay, not Lowndes, Oktibbeha. So he gave us a roadmap for the 3 towns. At the same time, we're working with Dr. Malcolm Patera. How many know Dr. Patera? Anybody? It's a shame. All you should know him. He should come talk to y'all. He should come talk to y'all. Malcolm Patera is this, okay? And I hadn't known him very long. Malcolm Patera is educational and economic development royalty in 2 states. Okay? You see, Mac Patera was the number 2 guy at Alabama. His job when they were recruiting Mercedes-Benz, his job was to do that. He said Governor Wallace told him on recruiting stuff. This is when another company was looking at the site, sitting there in his wheelchair with his morphine pump pumping. Doc, you go get them sumbitches and I'll take credit for them. Okay? Mac Patera was one of the probably 5 men that landed Mercedes-Benz for Alabama. Then he got the call. Got the call at Mississippi State. We want you to be our president. He left Alabama, came over, was president of Mississippi State University for 4 years. During that 4 years, Nissan was recruited. Again, he's probably one of the 5 key people that brought Nissan in. Okay? Then Alabama called and said, hey, come back. Don't be our number 2 guy, be our chancellor over the entire University of Alabama system, which he did, and was one of the 5 guys that was instrumental in bringing in Hyundai. So here's a cat who in a very short period of time has landed 3 major automotive plants and others, okay, and been instrumental in things like the Center for Advanced Vehicular Systems that's at Mississippi State and down here at Canton, and other things. He's got a similar body of work in Alabama, okay? We hired Mac and we said, okay, we got this Fruth study. What do you think about us? And he said, I think workforce is your Achilles heel. I said, I think you're right. He said, I don't think you can get where you want to get without dealing with this workforce issue. I said, I think you're right. So he came up with the idea that you had to come up with something that said, you're not in Kansas anymore. He envisioned this great big school for workforce development prominently located where everybody could see it, okay? Bill Fruth was working in conjunction with him. Bill Fruth said, we shall call it the Communiversity. Now, some of y'all have heard it called CMTE 2.0, and that's an MCC name, and Dr. Huebner's agreed to change that. But Fruth said, let's call it the Communiversity. Get this shit. Fruth said, we must create a place that inspires people to a lifetime of work. Now, I know some of you are thinking, crap, that's the last thing I want to do is think about having to work a lifetime, but without being as much socially plugged in as the governor was on his deal, we kind of sort of need that, right? We kind of sort of need that. So we worked with the architects, we came up with a building, and by the way, buildings don't teach anybody nothing, okay? People do. But you gotta have the facility to do it. We came up with the idea of what we wanted, we put the architect's pen to paper, and they came up with the Communiversity footprint that's some of what you're seeing up there right now. $38 million. We dispatched Mac to go meet with the folks down here in Jackson. He met with Tate Reeves, said I need $38 million. I think the conversation went like, get this shit out of here, I ain't giving you $38 million. But because Mac is such a persuasive salesman, before he left, he got a commitment for $8 million. Guys, we'd only be that lucky on that first date. They tell you no the first time and you leave with $8 million, probably been a good night. Some of you got it, some of you didn't. Okay? $8 million. He comes back as proud as your kitty cat is to walk in your house with that snake. Okay? We said, what the hell that gonna do? We're $30 million short, Mac. He said, well, we got to figure out a plan. We brought the elected officials for our 3 counties in and said, we're buying land, we're running water, we're running sewer, we're doing everything like that, but our Achilles heel is workforce, and if we don't correct workforce, we can't continue to go where we want to be. They said, what do you need? I said, I want $13.5 million from you boys. They said, what? I said, yeah, and here's how it works. Lowndes, I need 10 from you. Octibaha, I need 2.5 from you. Clay County, I need 1 from you. One of them said, is that a formula? I said, hell no, it's not a formula. It's what I think internally is right. Okay? I came up with them in my own heads. Don't do no formula or math. President of Lowndes County Board of Supervisors said, why you got us down at 10? I said, because you don't want to run a program that he can afford. And I pointed to Clay County. You get it? Your expectations are greater than $1 million will do. Plus, we're putting about $15 million a year in your county coffer pockets on deals we've done, okay? And that's when I looked him in the eyes, and he's a good friend, and I said, Harry, to he much is given, much is expected. All 3 of those communities signed up, passed resolutions, and signed up. So we sent Mac back to Jackson. He had $8 million from the legislature, he had $13 million from the local, but we're still short. He went back, he sat down with Tate, said, this is what I got. I think, I'll be honest with you, I think he liked seeing that we had skin in the game, and he said, I'm gonna give you another 10. We're 6.5 short. Well, at the time we're doing this state and this local thing, we're working the feds. Okay? We started out working with Mr. Nunley. Most of y'all know, a lot of y'all might know Mr. Nunley got sick and died. Before the banner fell, before the staff fell to the ground, Senator Cochran's office picked it up and kept running, and they got us $6.5 million from ARC. So, the funds are in place. Next month, 1st October, we open bids. We're building a 15-bay training center, could be expanded in the very near future to more, that will be the state-of-the-art workforce facility, probably in a multi-state region. We had a major company in the other day. They made the quote, they said it's like having a major HR facility in our backyard, because this is built in the industrial park, So we've checked that box. We've got a major league facility, major league team in EMCC. We got major league people that live in our towns. We're gonna provide a major league workforce for these folks. But we're going even further than that. Nikki Haley, I've spoken to Nikki Haley's governor's conference on economic development twice, and I've watched her. I think South Carolina's probably got it going on just about as good as anybody's got it going on right now. But we had a consultant that came in with KPMG not too long ago, and they said, you know, in the olden days, we said, how many people do you have in a 60-mile circle? Then we got really sophisticated. We said, how many people do you have in a 60-minute drive time? Those little jagged maps, some of y'all seen them. He said, Joe Max, in your career, you're gonna see that thrown out the door. We're gonna walk in and say, what's your work keys inventory for your county, for your city, for your state? We started looking at South Carolina, we started looking at North Carolina. Yokohama had already said they were going to use work keys as their employees. To get a job at Yokohama, you got to be a U.S. citizen, you got to be 18 years old, you got to have a GED or high school equivalent, and you got to pass silver on the work keys. You don't have one of those, adios. We're seeing our industries all go to that. So what we're also doing, in addition to this training center, an initiative that we're doing in our office, is we are paying for and encouraging all the students to take the work keys before they leave high school. Okay? And here's what we have kind of in our mind. Okay? We want to test these kids. And they can be college bound. You see, I don't think there's a problem in the world for a real bright kid that's going to one of our engineering schools, going to be a computer programmer, any of those STEM related stuff. I don't think there's any problem in the world of them taking a work keys test. Okay? But we're also going after that kid that wants to take the work keys and then go to one of our community colleges and get training and go right to work. We're also think that there is a very, very real need for that kid that has to go to work right out of high school, that they could take it and they could be in the catbird seat to get one of those spots. Okay? So I will tell y'all this, and I mean this, and I don't mean the first part of this is not intended to be disrespectful, because the second part, hopefully you'll come back to love me. I've been doing this almost 30 years. And in most cases, when a prospect comes years ago, and it came down to the pitches and all this, when it got into the workforce part of the presentation, I heard something akin to this. And then when they finished, I said, okay, now let's go to fiber optics. Okay? That's no longer the case. We found out that to succeed in the future, remember, the public's view of Mississippi, the world's view of Mississippi is not a good view. It's not. Does anybody disagree with that? It is not a good view. The same stereotype that I had in my mind when the headhunter called me is the same stereotype that people have when they come here. We have to go a step further, a step beyond, have to practice harder and work harder to get them to look at us. When they come here, we've got to make every toe push to show them that we can deliver them what they need. Now, this is not something that's going to be done overnight. It's not. I'm not even done where I live in my 3 counties. We're certainly not done for the state. But if we don't start now, I don't know where we're going to end up. Now, tell you a fun story. Maybe not should tell this. 60 Minutes is doing an expose on our organization. They've been here, Bill Whitaker, everybody watch 60 Minutes, anybody? I'd raise my hand even if I didn't. It'll make people sitting at the table thinking you're more well-read and intelligent, okay? Bill Whitaker's the reporter. They've been here shooting for a week. They're coming back in September. They're going to do fun stuff in September, okay? They want to follow us around and see how we interact with people at a tailgate at a football game. I said, as long as you don't care if I cuss, smoke a cigar, and drink, it'll be all right. Hopefully I won't have that Steve Holland moment, okay? Anybody get that? Did anybody get that? GQ? Steps? Goat? Okay. They're not just here doing an expose on the link and its great accomplishments. They're trying to put a face. See, they're going to run this around election time. I said, if you're here to come talk to me about 1523, keep your ass in New York because I ain't got no time for you. Okay? It ain't that damn important that I be on TV. Okay? They said, no. You don't understand. You're doing something right in the rural South. In the 50th or 49th, if you count Arkansas sometimes. State of the Union. You're doing something right. We want to come see what it is. And not only do we want to talk to you and your industry captains and see what's being made, we want to talk to your people. They asked EMCC to give 10 names of people that have gone through their programs, okay? They asked the industries to give some names of people that have gone through and been trained or retrained at EMCC to take those jobs. You know what they did? They took EMCC's list, they overlaid it on the industry list, and when you had one that was, both gave them, it was winner, chicken dinner, let's go talk to them. I'm gonna give you two stories. I don't know if any of these stories will be on the story, but I bet they are. They went to see one guy, I think he's a white guy, okay, and I don't know why we do this in the South, we gotta tell what color they are, okay? Went to see a white guy, he said, I couldn't pay my bills. He said, my wife wanted to homeschool our kids, had 2 kids, I couldn't pay my light bill, I really was having a hard time making it. I went out to EMCC and I took some classes. I got a job at PACCAR. He said, I just bought a new house. Just got back from taking my family to Disney World, and since I've been working there, we've had 2 more kids. Now, I fear there's going to be somebody in the country watching that and have a bad mindset about this dumb SOB couldn't make ends meet. By the time he gets it going his way, he has 2 more kids. But what I'm going to tell y'all, us being from here or living here a long time, I think that symbolizes to you the kind of comfort and the kind of where he is in life that he thinks he can do that, okay? But there's a better story. There was a black lady, about 40-something years old. That's my guess, okay? That's my guess. She lost her job at Sara Lee in West Point. Anybody know what Sara Lee made? Huh? They made meat products. That's not a joke. Seriously, that's what they made. They made bacon and lunch meat and stuff like that. They even had a part in the plant, had a big sign when you walked in that part of the plant that says, you're now entering Weenie World. Okay? So when you go to a football game and you're eating them hot dogs, that's Brian Hot Dogs. Okay? She worked at Sara Lee on the kill floor. She sat and told those city boys running the cameras and interviewing her from New York City what a typical day was like on the kill floor at Sara Lee. I want y'all to think about this, okay? She's killing hogs every day. That's her job, working on the kill floor. Sara Lee closed, she lost her job. She went to EMCC. She got retrained. She's a production clerk at PACCAR today. Cooler than this room is right now today, with a floor cleaner than this floor. I tell people you could drop a fried egg on it, scoop it up, put it on your mayonnaise and your tomato and eat it, and you'd never taste any grit, okay? I looked at Bill Whitaker, who's with 60 Minutes, a reporter. We're riding around, hanging out there here, and got to be pretty good buddies with him, and I said, leave the money alone. Don't even talk about how much more money she's making, but she's doing at least 2, probably 3, and maybe 3.5 times better than she was doing at Sara Lee. I know that, okay? But leave the money alone. What do you think it did for that lady's self-esteem? What do you think about her attitude? What do you think it's like living in her house now? And how has that woman's life been changed? And Bill Whitaker said, well, you can't put a number on it. It's an exponential number. I said, that's right. That's right. So here's the takeaway that I want y'all to have. Those of us that do this for a living, that are good at it, are going to make sure that our towns have buildings and land and infrastructure, and that we're in there, that when a project comes in, that we're in there in the mix trying to get it. Okay? That's our job. Okay? But we can't be successful if we don't have, because again, Mississippi's behind the 8 ball. We're behind, guys. Public perception, real or perceived, we're behind. We got to work harder. We've got to be able to train these folks up so they can get better jobs, bring us more better companies coming in, better jobs. Now, I get frustrated to no end with the politicians because they always want this crap done in that 4-year term or that 8-year term. What we're doing ain't going to be done in a 4-year term or a midterm or an 8-year term. What we're doing is a lifetime of work. And we've all got to realize that, and we've all got to commit to it. And just as when we get a good deal, pat ourselves on the back, say that was fun, and then get back at it, okay? Because if we all do this, we can change. Now, I'm going to tell this, and I'm over time, I'm going to shut up. The town that I was in before I came here, when I left, my former chairman came in. He's a judge now. He was an attorney then. He came in, he said, we made a difference. I said, yeah, I know, we made a difference. Because I'll get emotional on your ass, okay? I said, yeah, we made a difference. He said, no, we made a difference. I said, yeah, I know. He said, no, we've been doing this 10 years. I said, that's right, 9, close to 10. He put something on my desk. I'll never forget it. It was the number of people that we had taken in that county out of poverty during those 9 years. We had reduced the amount of people that were on poverty by between 20 and 25%. That's now a guy that can go buy a 4-wheeler, a bass boat, take his kids to Disney World. You understand what life changes happen when that happens? Okay? Folks, that's what we do. And us economic developers cannot succeed without our community colleges, without our workforce programs, without the state program, the state oversight that they have. We can't do this. I came today to speak to you, but the main thing I came to do is to thank you. Thank you very much.